Lord, I tell you, Bishop was, he was a little upset, to say the least. But he taught me many things, and I loved him. I loved being around him. He would take us shopping at times, and let me tell you something. If you ever went shopping with Bishop Bogan, you would get just about anything. As a teenager, I was wearing Pancaldi ties. How many men remember Pancaldi ties? Those were $100, $200 ties that he allowed, and he had what was called a good box. It was his Memphis ties. And he would see us in the convocation with his ties on. You're talking about an unforgettable experience. For good days, for challenging days, I watched him have faith in God to build this church. I saw him time after time take his own personal money and put it in the work of the Lord. I saw him do without. Remember him saying, you all remember that blue truck, the Suburban? He said he wasn't going to buy another car until he built the church. And he was just a man of faith. He was a great example. He taught me how to preach. And anybody who knows Bishop Bogan or who knew him, when you would be preaching, of course, you would have your notes together. You preachers know the place where they're going to drop down. They know the place where they're going, how many preachers do I have in the house? You know your spot. Preparing your message. You kind of know when you're going to bring it in. You know when you're going to put a little gravy on it. Lord, you couldn't preach behind Bishop Bogan or in front of Bishop Bogan, especially if it was good. I'd have my notes together, and as Pastor Coleman said, one of his phrases was, "You got water." And I'd be preaching, and I'd be just, kind of in my second point. "Now, boy, you got water. Drop down right there. Get off the paper. Get off the paper, boy. You got water." Oh, Jesus. So, of course, you never could get to all of your points. But he was a great man. He's a great man of faith. I had an opportunity to travel across the country, go to different conventions and be in different cities as a result of Bishop Bogan. I'll never forget him. He was a generous man. How many are recipients of his generosity? Now, growing up, Bishop we didn't know this until later on. Bishop would give us all money, like $20 for you, Chucky, $20 for you, Caiaphas, $20 for you, Junior. But he would give it to Walter. Walter would take us, we would go to McDonald's, and Walter say, "Order whatever you want, order what." He would let us order whatever we wanted to, and wouldn't tell us that the change was ours. He would pocket the money. And just many, many, many fond memories that I have of Bishop Bogan. I'll never forget him. I thank God when I started pastoring, he spoke into my life. As a matter of fact, when I was installed as pastor by the late Bishop C.L. Anderson Jr., Bishop Bogan had the opportunity to actually serve as one of the co-officiants. And it was Bishop Bogan who anointed me. Actually, this was the first time that the oil was poured on a pastor. I was the first one that he took the whole bottle of oil and he poured it from the top of my head, and it just went all the way down. And then he got on his knees. I'll never forget it. And he began to anoint my feet. He anointed my ear. He anointed my hand. He anointed me to preach the gospel. And I'll never forget that. And, I'm here tonight to receive the offering. You all know that if Bishop Bogan was here tonight to receive the offering, you know that everybody would be participating. Do I have any witnesses? How many were in services when Bishop received the offering? Now tonight, I'm going to ask you to help me. I'm going to ask you to participate. I don't want that hour anointing to come on me tonight.
And it's been such a blessing, and you will continue to be a blessing to this community and beyond, Pastor. So God bless you. And thank you, Harris Memorial, for allowing me to be here. I can remember even getting a call from Bishop every now and then in the morning. Back when I first started mornings at WFLT, I had to be there at 4:45 a.m. And sometimes he'd be on his way fishing with Uncle James, Pastor Walker. So I just thank God for being a part tonight. We're going to continue this awesome celebration. Let's praise the Lord on tonight. The tributes will continue with Sister Jean Anderson, Pastor Eric Howard, and Superintendent Steve Hawkins. God bless you all at this time. Sister Jean.
Good evening. I have so much that I could say about Bishop. First of all, I wrote some things down because I didn't want to forget anything. Thank God for Bishop's life and legacy. He was a perfectionist, and he made me who I am. Bishop, to know him was to love him. I relocated from Arkansas in 1966 to Michigan, and I thought we were just moving, me and my family, but I guess I was coming here to be saved, first of all, and to fulfill my ministry. And so I worked for Bishop a little more than 25 years. And he taught me patience, commitment, and to serve. He even, he taught me to how to have a prayer life. He was a very smart man. People just didn't know how smart Bishop was. He had a humongous library, and he would have me order books for that library. And I had to search out, find out where they were, because he had those books when he was in Moody Bible College. And so we would get bags of books from Scotland, England, and places like that. But he knew his library. It was nothing for him to go on a preaching engagement. And this happened numerous times. He would get there and he would think about, I need some more reference material. So he would call back and tell me, he was able to tell me what book, the title, the shelf it was on, the color, everything. And I would do what he asked me to do and fax it to him. And so, but Bishop was a special person. He had no sense of time. I worked 24/7. We would start working on Sunday morning sermon, maybe we'd work all week, but to put the finishing touches on it, Saturday night a lot of times. I may leave out of here at 11 o'clock at night just to get a phone call. Now, I usually be back like by 6 o'clock, but just to get a phone call to tell me, I changed the sermon. I need you to be here by 5:30. I might get that call about 4:30. So, and I would tell him, Bishop, why do you do that to me? I'm sick of you and the Lord talking behind my back, changing sermon. But he would, and sometimes I would hear him. I was in the building most times anyways, and I would hear him laugh. And he'd just be cracking up. I said, somebody came in. But when I go in there, he was watching one of his favorite TV shows, The Stooges, The Three Stooges. One night, he was in Memphis, and some special meeting, and he was with Bishop Gilbert Patterson. And they were discussing something, and he needed some information for Bishop Patterson. So he didn't look at a clock or anything. He just called. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. And he asked me to come up to the church, get this information, and call him back. And I could hear Bishop Patterson in the background saying, no, Bishop, no. And he said, that's my secretary. So, but one of the, and I know Bishop really loved me. He thought the world of me, and I thought the world of him. One of the most humbling things that happened was when Pastor was travailing in pain. And by him helping me to become a prayer warrior, I had to put that to use. So, you know, it's an humbling experience to be able to lay hands on your pastor, a bishop, you know, but that helped me to, my faith was increased through that. And of course, the Lord delivered him, not me, the Lord. But anyways, through that relationship, I became, I gained a brother. Not just a pastor or a bishop, but a brother. I also gained a sister, Mother Bogan, and 2 nephews, my present pastor and Walter Jr. And I want you all to know that I really love you all. And I just want to leave this little thought. Bishop's famous motto: greatness is not in a title, but in a tile. To Bishop's family, it was a pleasure to serve. Thank you.
How I ended up on program, I won't know, but I'm appreciative. People don't know that 1999, this little short man named Walter Howard Sr. called down to Memphis, Tennessee, and said, Superintendent Walter Bogan, when the word got to Flint and the national church did whatever they wanted to do, we assembled at Anderson Memorial on some Saturday, and this gregarious character, this bigger than life man, walked in the room, grabbed me by my hand, and said, Howard, your father just secured your future. He said, you don't know what your father did for you. I'll never be able to repay him for what he said to the presiding bishop. Called me in the office, sat me down with people that I should not have been sitting with, and said, you're going to be somebody in this church. I'm going to put you with this person, and you're going to learn how to do that. And then he pulled me out of that and said, I'm going to put you with this person, and you're going to learn how to do that. And then he pulled me out of that department. I'm going to put you with this person, and you're going to learn this church. He got me, so he caught me. Beaver, he caught me with 11 words. Eric, he caught me with 11 words. He said, more is caught than taught. Howard, you got to stay with me. And I was done. There was nobody else for me. I didn't want to talk to anybody else. My father got promoted to glory. He called me and said, what do you need? I said, just put them away. And whatever you want to do, Bishop, we're with you. Came down to visit us at my mother's house, sat with us. And y'all know how he did. I'm not going to do it now. But he would hit that knee when you're sitting across from him and rub it and squeeze the knee. He said, I told you you're going to be somebody in this church. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But you're going to be somebody in this church. He got me until somebody said he didn't really pay attention to time. I just think he didn't regard time. It just didn't matter to him. Because all of a sudden I found myself in church on the second Sunday of March, all the way through to the third Sunday of March, from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 1 o'clock in the morning.